The 2021 Monaco Grand Prix, and it was exciting for a little bit, and then it wasn't very exciting at all. But myself and Laura here to discuss it. Laura, firstly, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, yeah, I'm good. Just sort of having a little reflection of obviously the Grand Prix weekend. It was weird, really, because it was really exciting, and then it really, really wasn't. I don't know, just for a quick race review from yourself. How did you find it overall?
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's probably better off watching qualifying for this, aren't you? Because in the race, unless you're going for a strategy or from the start of the race, there's no way that they could possibly overtake, especially with the size of the track and the size of the cars now. So it was a pretty boring race overall for me.
No, definitely. I think the only on-track overtake I can think of is Schumacher on Mazepin in the first lap. I think the other overtake was obviously Vettel going past Gasly and Hamilton, but that was more of a pit stop strategy. So
Yeah.
with regards to exciting overtakes, it wasn't really like Imola, it wasn't really like Bahrain. It was very much, right, this is your qualifying position. This is probably going to be your finishing position as well. But obviously, Monaco, we know how important qualifying is. In your opinion, Laura, is it the most important qualifying of the entire season?
Well, yeah, it has to be really, doesn't it? Because it determines how you're going to do in the race. The strategy for pit stops is pretty minor, and then some of them do get it right, but a lot of them there isn't a lot of time that they can get in there unless you're getting a safety car, which we didn't get this time. Then nothing really happens. So qualifying is essentially the main event for it because we just watched a procession go round and round. Really,
We did, yeah. It's funny you mentioned the yellow flag. We haven't actually had a yellow flag in the last three Monaco races now, which really surprised me because you always think of it, especially. I don't want to go too much on Mazepin, but especially with a driver like it. Well, I think we all kind of expect at least one yellow flag, but it was very much round and round and round, and there wasn't too much action. But the main bit of action obviously was on Saturday, and we'll talk briefly about the qualifying. Obviously, Leclerc on pole. I don't know about yourself, but I was really excited for the potential of a Ferrari pole position again for the first time since Mexico 19.
yeah, I was really excited about it because that was going to make the race. Overall, if Leclerc was on pole and he started, we were going to have a slower car at the front. So someone was going to have to overtake. And there may have been the speed to see something, a little bit of a battle there. But unfortunately, that got taken away from him and we didn't get to see that battle. So we had two fast cars at the front just going for it. And it ended how it started pretty much.
It did, yeah. I think obviously take away Bottas and obviously with what happened with Leclerc, everyone pretty much finished where they started. I know Perez and Vettel both had fantastic strategies, but they very easily could have gone the other way. Obviously, no one track overtakes as such. But no, and obviously looking at the qualifying session, I know it's been debated, obviously on Twitter, Facebook, social media. The Leclerc crash, obviously after he'd hit the wall, what would you have done? Obviously, you're in Monaco, you're on P1. You might need a gearbox change. You might not. Obviously, I know hindsight's a beautiful thing, but in the moment, would you have stuck yourself on pole and said no, I'm going to risk it, or would you have sort of stepped back and go, I'm going to have to be sensible here?
Well, they checked the gearbox and they said there was nothing wrong with it. So, with there being nothing wrong with the gearbox, there's nothing they can do. It was actually the drive shaft on the other side of the car, not the side that was hit as well. So they weren't expecting it to go wrong, and they didn't check it because that's not just something that they would check. So, I mean, is that true? I think that's the only bit I question is, has Ferrari said, well, this is what's actually gone wrong, rather than making themselves look pretty stupid and going, yeah, it was the gearbox.
I do. It would have been a very Ferrari thing to do, to go, oh, we checked the gearbox. It was all right. And then it wasn't all right. You can't, they can't be that incompetent. It must have genuinely been. I mean, I felt sorry for Leclerc because I'm sure every F1 fan did. And I felt sorry from a fan's perspective as well, because it's like, we could have had a really good race there. I mean, we could have potentially had a double podium for Ferrari. We could have had Leclerc and Verstappen, which is sort of a championship battle a lot of people are expecting in years to come, and we didn't really get that. And Leclerc in Monaco, they're just two things that do not go together at all. Three races, two DNFs, one DNS, and it's sad really, because I think we were wanting to do well, but at least Max won, and it's moved around the championship a bit. That was a bit more exciting.
It has, and the constructors as well. So both of them have moved. However, obviously, if you look at the championship for the constructors as well, how McLaren and Norris are doing is absolutely incredible, considering sort of where Ricciardo is as well. Sort of Lando is carrying them. So seeing those as the top three teams at the moment is great. And Mercedes not being at the top, this is nice. We want to see a bit of a challenge in the races. We don't want it to be miles out in front and no one has another chance.
It is, yeah. I mean, I like Lewis Hamilton. I think he is probably the greatest of all time, but it was nice to see him quite far down the order, just from a championship perspective to go, oh, you know, we've got, I mean, you know, we have Max on a podium. We've had Lando on a podium already this season. Carlos has been on podiums before, but never all three of them together almost. It's nice to have that little mix up. And I think it would have been the youngest podium of all time, but unfortunately, Science is a little bit too old. Which was mentioned afterwards, which I thought, fair enough, Max, you're not wrong. If it was Max, Leclerc and Norris, it probably would have been, but no, but obviously mentioning Norris and obviously carrying McLaren, I don't know how you reacted, but I felt really sad for Ricciardo when he had to let Norris pass. I know Ricciardo is a respectable driver, he's a brilliant driver, but I felt a little bit sorry for him, to be honest.
I did. I just don't think he's got used to that car. I do think whether he regrets leaving Red Bull because he made that choice himself and he knew he was in a fast car there and he was doing all right. But it was sad to see him being lapped by his teammate. But at the same time, he had that respect for his teammate and he gave way to him really easily. He didn't hold him up. And that is part of a team player. That's what McLaren want. And hopefully he can get back up the front towards where Norris is as well.
I do. I mean, we all hope it. We all like him. I don't personally think he's the number one driver in that team, and I do think Norris is sort of getting a tight grip on being the number one. But I do hope Ricciardo gets at least a podium, because obviously since leaving Red Bull, I think he does. I don't know if he regrets the decision, but for his own personal career, I think he's probably made the wrong one. But then again, it's 3 years down the line now. Yeah, it's easy for me to say that. But sticking with McLaren, what are your thoughts on that livery?
Oh, it was absolutely stunning, wasn't it? It's a shame that they're not going to keep it. Absolutely fantastic watching that livery go round on that car, and it was a really nice shot. Even though Norris was overtaking Ricciardo, it was a really nice shot of having both the cars together on the track.
It was.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, that looks nice.
That's a nice picture.
No, it really was. But did you get any of the merch that came out? It came out and then sold out almost instantly. I don't know if you got any merch yourself.
Oh, no, I don't do that. So
not a merch fan. No, I got myself a jacket. I was like, I don't buy it. I know I'm wearing a Max hat right now, but I don't tend to buy merch. I was like, I do like the look of that jacket, so I've sucked up and picked one up. But no, obviously, sort of. I don't want to say moving down the order, but from a Norris to a Mercedes, it does almost feel like we're moving down the grid a little bit with regard to Sunday. So just to quickly, yes or no, do you think that front right tyre is still on Bottas's car, or do you think we've got it off yet?
I think it's probably still on there. They're transporting it on there, aren't they? So
I couldn't believe it. He's going to have to drive around with that soft tyre on for the rest of the season. It's no one's fault. It does seem to have Mercedes Pitcock have had a bit of a dodgy time as of late. Obviously, with Sakir last year. Take away from obviously the fantastic pit stop strategy they had last time out. It's not something you'd expect from one of the most successful teams in F1 history, and it's like how much of that is human error and how much of it is just the tyre got stuck. I don't know. Have you got your thoughts?
Well, I mean, Toto came out and he said that it was partially because of the entry to how Bottas came in on the entry, because he stopped slightly too early and slightly on an angle, which meant that the mechanic had to put the gun on a different angle, which meant that it put too much stress and then obviously just sheared off. So, I mean, there's no one's fault, really, is it? It's something that can happen. It's just a shame that Bottas has now had 2 races where he's not, well, he couldn't finish in this one. So,
no, two out of the first 5. It's exactly the same as what Max had last year, I think, where it's almost killed him. I mean, no one thought he was going to win the World Championship, but he's definitely not going to have a chance now.
No, but at the end of the day, let's be honest with Bottas. To be fair, if Hamilton wasn't there, he would be a multiple world champion already himself. He is an incredible driver. He has got his flaws as well, but he is always up there, second, third. He's not too far away from Hamilton.
He's always putting it decent in the points. And in comparison to obviously, Red Bull, the nearest challengers the last 2 years, no one can really argue with the Mercedes second drive. But looking more so, but good, obviously, Sebastian Vettel and potentially Sergio Perez as well. Both had fantastic strategies this weekend. I know Vettel's overtake on Gasly. I know we will have the fantastic sight of seeing Lance Stroll pop up an aquaplane into the swimming pool. But take away the fact we all missed it. What did you think of the Aston Martin driver this weekend?
That was great. I think I heard somewhere that he said he had no idea how close Gasly was alongside him at one point when he came out. But just watching him come out of that, Gasly was defending Hamilton at the same time. So he couldn't actually then go and attack Vettel. So Vettel then just flew past both of them as they came out pit straight. And yeah, that was it. He picked up those spaces, and well done to him. He kept his cool, incredible driving.
He did really well. And I found it interesting. I saw earlier, I think it was a thing on Facebook about the slowest pit stops of the weekend. And I think Vettel, we had probably the second or third slowest pit stop of the weekend. I don't remember the exact time, but it was one of the slowest. So his in lap must have been phenomenal. And it's so nice to see a 4-time world champion. He's not driving a world championship caliber car, but he's driving a car probably a little bit better than it can be driven at the moment. Obviously, Lance Stroll scored points consistently for Aston Martin, but top 5 is something that's eluded them so far, and it's hopefully a bit of a sign of better things to come for the green outfits. Oh, I got completely confused there. for the team in green.
Yeah, hopefully it would be nice to see him up there a little bit more. It was nice to sort of see him after as well, and he was happy with his performance and with the team. One thing we picked up when we were watching is Vettel's the only one with no one with a camera in his face with a phone recording what he's saying. So they obviously trust him. But yeah, it was nice to see how well he was doing. Obviously, the laps must have been great. Gasly between Hamilton warming up his tyres, the hard tyres, and then Gasly defending him, they must have lost quite a bit of time for him to be able to actually come out in front as well.
But no, overall, it wasn't the most exciting races, but, it was a Monaco Grand Prix. We had Max winning. We've got a new World Championship leader. It's the first time Max has led, Red Bull atop of the constructors. I hope, obviously, going into Azerbaijan next time out in the streets of Baku, I really hope we do have a proper fight. I'd hate it now if Max has a similar fight to what Hamilton's had this weekend, and it kills the championship again, because it is exciting to watch as a fan, looking at it going, do you know what? Maybe Lewis isn't going to win this week. Maybe Mercedes aren't going to win this week. And especially to see them, seventh. Sorry. It was really nice as a fan. Yeah, it was seventh. Yeah, Gasly in 6th. But no, obviously we have the fantastic people from Hobby Box on my last podcast. So I thought it'd be quite interesting. We sort of briefly discuss tops now. Obviously, with the tops now cards for this race, but there will be at least one. I'm hoping, since we started the conversation. I'm sort of going to say I think there'll probably be 3. So Laura, I'll sort of open it to yourself, and I'll give a prediction as well. What would be your 3 tops now cards based off the Monaco Grand Prix?
It's got to be the McLaren livery.
Yeah.
So for me, it's definitely the McLaren livery, but there's also one with Norris with the car out on with 3rd position as well. So that would be a very, very nice picture. It's obviously just who owns the rights to the photos, I guess. So that one, who else? Max, obviously, first time. He was on pole, first time winning Monaco, and then he's also running the championship now. Would be really good. 3rd one, what would I go for?
There's a lot of choice, isn't there?
I would like to see maybe a Mick Schumacher overtaking Mazepin. That was a pretty good overtake, considering where it was as well. That was risky.
It was, yeah. He was like, I ain't sitting behind you.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah. I'm not staying here.
And it happened on the first lap as well. I was like, he's going for it. He is. But no, I agree. I think it'll be, I don't think it'll be a Norris podium because I've had one of them. I think it'll be a McLaren livery, but the photo will be of Norris with the car, obviously, in 3rd place. Verstappen leading the World Championship, I think that would definitely be one. Or first win in Monaco, it'll be some form of that. I was of the mindset of it will be a Leclerc pole, but I feel like after what's effectively been a shocking weekend for him, obviously on a personal level, I don't think it will be. So I'm swaying more towards a Sainz first Ferrari podium. But then, obviously, we've got, so between us, we've said 4, between us, said 5, sorry, because obviously I mentioned with Leclerc. You've then also got the potential of Vettel's first points for Aston Martin. You've got potential for, I don't think they will, but you've got potential for Perez's strategy, but I don't think that will happen. You've got Williams' 750th race. Again, Williams are really quiet this weekend, so I don't think that will happen. You've got Alfa Romeo scoring points. I don't think that will happen. I've named 9 cards there. We've named 9 cards there.
Yeah, they've got a lot of choice. One I'd really, really like to see is 3 ex-teammates on the...
with the Button, Vettel and Alonso.
Well, yeah. So just seeing them on that.
Oh,
So, no,
yeah. I just realised,
and
yeah.
Norris.
I
Yeah,
confused myself then. So, yeah. So, obviously, Norris and Verstappen were together at Toro Rosso,
yeah.
and not Norris and Verstappen, Sainz and Verstappen, and then Sainz and Norris at McLaren. In my head, I was thinking, the 2011 Monaco Grand Prix when it was Vettel, Alonso, and Button is the same three teams as this year. That's what I thought when you meant teammate.
Oh, right, yeah.
You could have them, yeah.
It would be lovely to see. I mean, I love watching Norris and Sainz anyway. If you watch the interview with them, they're just so they're so jokey with each other. And it is nice to see, even though they battle each other on track, that they've got that friendship as well. And I enjoy watching that.
No, it is really nice. But we'll end the pod there. But I did enjoy the weekend overall. I think, as you say, and as we sort of alluded to, I think it was probably sorted on the Saturday, minus the Leclerc mishap. But
Yeah.
Either way, a Monaco Grand Prix, we haven't had one of them for a very long time, it seems. So it's fantastic to be back around the streets of Monte Carlo. Obviously, we've got a week off, and then we're back out in Baku. If I had to sort of push you for a potential race winner in Azerbaijan now, where would you go?
Oh, well, I mean, it's always going to be back to either Verstappen or Hamilton, and I want to see a battle. As much as I want Hamilton to win, because that is who I follow and that's who I want to win the championship. I don't know. At this time, I can't predict it because Red Bull are doing so well. So I'm not sure. All I want to see is a good battle.
Definitely want everyone to have fun.
Yeah.
I think Mercedes do tend to do well in Azerbaijan, so I'm going to say Hamilton. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a battle, and I'd like to see Verstappen come out on top. I'd like to see him build a bit of a lead because I think we haven't seen Hamilton chase the World Championship for a very long time. 2016.
It would be good to see. Yeah.
It would be really good to see. But Laura, look, thank you so much for coming on. Have a lovely evening yourself. I look forward to speaking with you in a few weeks.
And you.
Thank you. Ta-ra.